CNG, the more things you're supposed to try to do, how you're supposed to do maintenance and all of that. So I'll share my screen so that we can have a little bit of. I didn't do much today because I know most of it is usually explanation. So please bear with me while I share my screen and go through some of the information that I have for everyone today. All right. I hope everyone can see my screen now. Okay, yeah, all good. Thank you so much. All right. Let's go to this information. Can everybody see my screen? Okay, all right. So let's go into some part of the CNG side of things. All right. So with most CNG vehicles, I always say when you're deciding to convert a vehicle to CNG, you have to understand what the requirements of the engine once you change it, because most people need to remember that once you convert from a petrol engine to CNG, 100% you're exposing your car to a lot more heat, because gas is obviously not as is not lubricating the system like the petrol is. So one of the other thing that your petrol does when it goes into the cylinders, it lubricates and it cools down the engine as well. So because once it goes into the combustion chamber, it still lubricates things, so reduces friction. It really reduces the how hot inside that cylinder is. It reduces that amount of heat from it too. So once you convert the vehicle to gas, you've taken that away. You've completely taken that away from that cylinder. So you need to find a way to compensate for it. Now, when you had the petrol engine, the oil that you use is going to be oil that has less that can take less heat, because you don't need that much heat to actually compensate inside the combustion chamber, because the petrol would do that as well. So the oil would try to do as much as it can, but both of them together will actually cool down, and then the cooling system too as well will cool down the system. Now, once you move straight into CNG, you're supposed to change the oil that you use. You're not supposed to use the previous oil that you use, because you need an oil that will be able to take a lot of heat and break them down as well. So that's why today I'm just going to be running through some few oils that you should use once you convert from petrol engine to CNG. So same as your spark plug will change as well, because there's not much change in the spark plug, kind of, but you just have to get a spark plug that actually doesn't wear as fast as the previous one. So there's usually three types of spark plug that I say a normal engine should use. So there's copper, which is the normal spark plug that we have. So the electrode on it is usually copper, so it's thicker. Then we come to radium. Then there's platinum. There is another special one that they're using now, but it doesn't really concern CNG. So maybe when we get to electric vehicle, maybe we might talk about that spark plug. So usually they always say iridium or platinum is not too bad, but of course they are more expensive. So a proper iridium spark plug it's fairly expensive. Here, I think the one I bought today is about 39. You can go as $52 each. So it's not cheap. So the ones that we might get in Nigeria might be, yes, fairly not very fairly good, but at least if you want to really buy one, you'd be looking close to almost 50K spark plug for some of these cars. So it depends on what spark plug your engine uses. That's what we'll be looking at. So for the engine oil, so some of them Once you go to gas, they decide to tell you to use a higher viscosity of oil just so that you can compensate for that heat that happens in that combustion chamber because you're taking fuel away from it. Now, the only other major problem we're facing now is that most people have a hybrid system, which means they can switch between petrol and gas. Now, in that case, 1540 is too thick if you have a petrol engine. It's too thick because what will happen is it will take longer time for it to get to the valve timing, which is the timing chain to lubricate it. It would get too long. It would take too long to get into the combustion chamber and most other part of it. So you have pickup sensors. So you have like the oil level sensor, oil pickup sensors. There's valve timing solenoid sensor. So that one is what that takes fuel oil from the sump to make sure that there's oil in the timing chain or the timing belt, whatever you want to call it, just so that it doesn't run dry. So if the oil is too thick, you're going to have a major problem because you're switching between them. If you switch between them and you have the lower viscosity oil, it is not very good for your it's not very good for your gas system. Now, if you have the very thick oil, it is not very good for your petrol system. So I don't know what we want to do about that. So I'd say if you want to use maybe instead of going if you have an hybrid system, instead of going 1540, so maybe we can go maybe 1050. So let's cut between them. So instead of going 1030, 1040, go 1050. The viscosity is not too bad for you to run, but when you're going 1050, please only use it on older cars. I mean, older cars, 2000 cars, not more than maybe 2002 at the max. If you want to risk it, please go as maybe 2002 because of the viscosity of the oil. But if it's the modern, maybe 2005, 2007, 2010, I'll say maybe maximum go 1050, please. So that's just my own recommendation and opinion, please. It doesn't have to be right, it doesn't have to be wrong. It's just us keeping ourselves in between the normal box so that we don't over push the engine. So the engine doesn't overwork as well. So like I said, this is the reason you're doing that is just because of the high temperature oil suitable for commercial and passenger vehicles. So you can do 1040, should be able to do 1050. If you want to, if you're going to run full-time gas, please go 1540 or 2050. That's the best oil for you to use with your gas. That will help your valve. It help every single piston rings and all of that. It would definitely help the system. So please, that's what I might say. That's all I want to say on oil. Then the next is the spark plugs, which I've mentioned. So iridium is the best option that you've got for spark plugs, just because of the kind of system that you're running. Same, the material for iridium helps you. So the material is better than copper, and because it actually helps in a hotter environment, your iridium is better. Heat range, gap size, fine wire electrode, those are the few major things that you're supposed to look at. Now for iridium, for copper, most manufacturer will tell you to replace your spark plugs at 40,000 Ks. So every 40,000 Ks, or maybe 25,000 miles, you should replace your spark plugs. That is the recommendation of the manufacturers. So now, when you buy iridium, because it's twice as expensive, but also the material they use in making iridium is way better, you can basically get between 60 to 80,000 Ks. But please always double check your system. Always double check it. Every time you do a service, please check. Take one out or two out, just double check and make sure it's not leaking spark already. So because they tell you should usually go 80,000 Ks, doesn't necessarily mean it will go. If you have an engine uh, uh, um, in a poor condition, it would actually burn out the spark plugs quicker. So please double check them because it does happen. I've replaced the spark plug in 30,000 Ks, it's completely gone, and I put a radium in. So although that covers, I get warranty on that. So that really did help. So please, that's just my own opinion about CNG and all of that. Now, the major problem when you go into CNG, if you don't do couple of this information or couple of these things that I've told you to do, or couple of these maintenances that you're supposed to do, the major problem that you're going to face is your valve seating. Now, I tell you, because of your valve seating recession, so VSR, because the CNG is a dry fuel, lacking lubrication property of petrol and burns in a higher temperature, it can cause a valve seating to wear out of reside into the cylinder head. So it's hotter in the system. Once you're switching in between petrol and diesel, once you go into petrol and gas, or diesel to gas as well, it is hotter. Like, because once that system goes that very hot and it doesn't have the right spark plugs, it doesn't have the right oil. And as much as possible, most people put water inside the system, although water is a better dispenser of heat. But the only problem is that the system will rust. So please always put coolant in. If you want to move from this petrol problem into CNG, you have to do it right. If not, your engine would have excessive wear. Yes, because it's working now doesn't mean it will work for a long time. The amount of time you're going to drive on a petrol, if you were using the petrol engine that is made for, it shortens of lifespan of the lifespan of your engine once you convert into gas. So once you convert into gas, you have to start making these adjustments. Please make these adjustments. If not, you're in for a new engine. You'd just be going through engines quicker as well. So other than that, ignition component failure, CNG requires high voltage to ignite, which places excessive stress on the spark plugs and ignition coil. So you go through more ignition coil, you go through more spark plugs. So use the right spark plug, which is the iridium or the platinum one, which gives you, which helps in the heat, which takes care of the heat part and takes care of the spark part. So if you use copper and you use copper, number one is the copper will burn out quicker, and then the ignition coils will also burn out quicker as well. So we all know ignition coils are more expensive. Things like this, you have to make this adjustment if you are going to go that way. Please make this adjustment. So engine oil degrading. So there's a lot of things that petrol does, but because you change it to gas, it won't do all of those things. So it means the engine oil has to be the one to do most of these problems or to deal with most of these problems. So your engine oil will always degrade quicker. So it means do your services. If you're doing gas, if you've moved to gas, do your services earlier. So maybe 3 months, 4 months. Do your services earlier because of the contamination because of contaminated oil. You can't have contaminated oil in the whole system, because once it goes through the places that you should never have contaminated oil, the engine is on its way out. So corrosion of components, yes, that's because CNG contains the traces of sulfur and carbon dioxide, which is terrible for the system. So you need something to break down these two gases if you want to continue using that system. So and then shorten your services. Just do these are just the recommendations under CNG. If you've moved from petrol to CNG, these are the things I would recommend that you do. Now let's go to few electric vehicles. Now I'll go through some of electric vehicle that is already in Nigeria. So we talk about Geely, we talk about Cherry, we talk about BYD. So those are, I think, those are the most popular brands that we've got. So if you have any of those cars, these are the service intervals that you're supposed to do. If you own one, you have to do this. If you don't do it, you're playing with a big problem. For the CNG and the petrol vehicles, the older ones, they're still the stress and the problem you're going to face is still minimal. But when it comes to electric vehicles, which is the plug-in hybrids and hybrid electric vehicles, you can't joke with this. If you do, it will cost you a lot of money. It will definitely cost you a lot of money. So the air condition filter, which is the cabin filter. We call it cabin, we call it aircon filter, we call it there's one other one we call uh forgotten the name anyway. It's this, we're referring to the same part. It's just sits underneath your glove box. So they tell you to always replace it within 3 to 6 months. If you do not replace it, don't forget that the AC works with the recycling the air that still comes from outside. Once that's blocked, there's no air coming in anymore. So that's what filters the air that comes into the vehicle. If not, you just start having a lot of terrible smells and all of that. So pretty much, if you want to keep inhaling that much dust, then that's on you. Anyway, the brake fluid every 30,000 Ks. Whether you've had the car for 2 years or not, as long as it's every 30,000 Ks, you need to do brake fluid flush because of moisture. Now, moisture builds in the brake fluid and it doesn't let you break it doesn't break the car as efficient as you're supposed to. So you always need to do brake fluid flush every 30,000 Ks. Transmission, general oil service is every 30,000 Ks. Now, with the newer cars, we're starting to see or have situations whereby we're having to do most of the older cars. People never did their transmission fluid onto maybe 100,000 Ks, maybe 120. But with the newer cars, with the more technology they've got in those vehicles, we're having to do even a diff oil replacement at 20, 30,000 Ks now. Unfortunately, I do not know why they've started to do them. So the more electronics they've had to have in those cars, the quicker we have to do most of this repairs. So you cannot have this, you cannot be complacent with your services with the newer cars. Please do not be. So, all right. So you need to do transmission fluid, spark plugs every 40,000 Ks if you've got copper, but if you've got iridium, you can go 60, sometimes you can go 80 if the car is in a very good condition. All right, timing belt, you can see replace every 40,000 Ks. Timing belt usually is 100,000 Ks, 100, That's what we always do. But with the newer cars now, you can see Cherry wants you to replace their own timing belt every 40,000 Ks. You cannot, if you don't do it every 40,000 Ks, I guarantee you by 50, engine's gone. It will just lock up your engine and then valves bent, need a new engine. So I don't know, whoever sells those vehicles to us in Nigeria, I don't know if they tell us this information. And please, I beg you, you see this 12 months, 15,000 Ks for every vehicle, please don't do it. It's too long. So if you use depends on the oil you use. If you use terrible oil, I'll say maximum every 6,000 Ks, please just do a service. So the oil that we use is really, really bad. Most of the oils in Nigeria is not very good. So if they're not good, please do your services on time. Those are part of the things that kills the vehicles we have in Nigeria. So that's pretty much for Cherry. Now let me go to BYD. Now, so this is BYD. Now, so I hope everyone can see my screen, right? Are we still all good? Or do you want me to get the icon out of here? So is this still good, or do you want me to get rid of this Google Meet uh page? All good. Okay, okay, okay. All good. Thank you. All right. So with this one, now this is what BYD always tells you to do for both the electric or plug-in hybrid, full electric, or hybrid electric. So those are the three BYD does. Now, so we can go through each of them. So your first service is 10,000 Ks. So you get once you buy the car, the first 5,000 Ks you bring it back. Well, we do double checking of everything. Just double check everything, make sure everything's all good. Then we return the car back to you. And then for BYD, they tell you every 10,000 Ks now. So if you come here, okay, so they said every 20,000 Ks because it's full electric. So you don't necessarily need an oil change, but if it's plug-in hybrid, you still have a 1.5 liter engine. So it means you need an oil change. With those ones you need an oil change for, let me see if I can find one that you need an oil change for. Let me see. So good. Okay, for the sake of today, so I don't waste time, let's just keep on with this. So you see, for your 20,000 Ks, these are exactly what you're supposed to do at 20,000 Ks. Then we move to 40,000 Ks. Now it increases. So safety inspection, battery health inspection, brake pad wear inspection. So this is for a full electric. Now you see, you need to change gear oil at 40,000 Ks. You know, Cherry said the same thing. Let's come to Cherry. Cherry, 30,000 Ks. But BYD says they want you to change the transmission fluid at 40,000 Ks. And please, I hope we understand, because it's full electric doesn't mean it still doesn't use coolant. Still uses coolant, it still uses um gear oil, still uses brake pads, still uses brake fluid. So the only thing you don't have is a physical motor. So which is the engine that you see in your vehicle. Other than that, you still have some kind of engine. You still have some kind of transmission as well. And in that transmission, you need cool. So you need something to cool the transmission, regardless of whether it's electric or not. You still need coolant to cool that transmission. And sometimes I've seen some of them that run a little bit of oil as well, but the kind of oil they run is not same as the contemporary oil that we use. So for that, you need to replace the cabin filter at 40,000 Ks. So let's go 60. Now, 60 is just a normal checkup. So we know 40 is what do they call it? Is a major service. So 20 minor, 40 major, 60 minor. Let's look at 80 Ks. Now, 80 is a major service as well. So you're replacing brake fluid at 80,000 Ks. So now that's 3 years. Same as everyone. Every 3 years, you have to replace it. Gear oil again, 40,000 Ks. Cabin filter again at 40,000 Ks. And then coolant. Like I said, you always have to use coolant. You don't have a choice. You always have to use coolant every single time. And you have to replace it at 60,000 K, 80,000 K. Now let's go to 100. Still a minor service. 120 usually is a major one. Yes, still pretty much the same thing. 140, same thing. Let's see if we get any major. Yeah, it's still so. Pretty much all you need to do is oil filter, air filter. Sorry, gear oil, cabin filter, coolant, and brake fluid. Pretty much in 160,000 case, 180 is still the same thing. There was one brand that you have to do a full battery health check for. I just need to look for, I can't remember that brand. Let me see if this gives me a little bit of more information. So pretty much, you know what, if you have a BYD right now, you know what you're looking at if you wanted to do a service. So let's do maybe dynamics. Let's see if there's anything different. And this one, still the same thing. So at least now we know that, yes, if you see, all right, you see that BYD dynamic seal. Now put their one, you have to do the transmission oil and the filter replacement at 200,000 Ks. But let me see 100,000 Ks. Let's see what, like, it's just normal health check. 80,000 Ks. Yes, you see, so every 80,000 Ks, you need to replace the transmission fluid and the filter. You see that most of the time, most people who are mechanics here, you've almost it's very rare for you to pull up maybe let's say a Hilux or a Land Cruiser for you to replace the filter unless you're starting to it's getting to maybe 150, 180 Ks. You're like, okay, let me just do the oil and filter. Let's do the uh, uh transmission oil. Let's lose the transmission filter. But for the newer cars now that they're doing, we always have to do them. So we know that if you have a BYD Seal Dynamic, this is what you're looking at. Now let me see if there's anyone that is so this is a plug-in hybrid. See, 3,500 Ks or 6 months. So that's the first. So that's the first service. So 20,000 Ks oil and filter replacement. So this is a plug-in hybrid. So wear inspection. Let's go 60,000 Ks. That's not too bad. 80,000 Ks. Now look at this. You see oil replacement, brake fluid, pollen filter. You've got air filter replacement, cabin canister filter replacement. This pollen filter. Now you can see this BYD Seal 6 has two cabin filters. So cabin canister filter replacement is a different filter that they've put in this. Now you do a fuel filter replacement at 80,000 Ks, spark plug replacement, EHS oil and filter replacement, engine and motor coolant replacement. You see that this is what the manufacturer will always recommend. So there's different recommendation for different service intervals. So which I'm happy that I can show you this from here. So this is if you take your vehicle to BYD, these are the things exactly they're going to be doing. Now they replaced fuel filter at 80,000 Ks, right? Now they're replacing it at 120 again. So that's another. So every 40,000 Ks, you have to replace your fuel filter. Let me go 140. Let me see what comes up. Let's say 160. Fuel filter again every 40,000 Ks. See? So these are things that needs to be done. Unfortunately, whatever you buy determines what service you're going to do. So let me see if there's any other one that's going to be different. Let me see. Yeah. So you see dual motor gear oil change. And these oils are not cheap. I hope somebody sells it in Nigeria. So half of the people who have started buying these BYDs, Tesla, whichever one you started buying, just know that these are the service intervals that you have to do and this you cannot compromise on them because of the materials they use in making most of this ones. This is like the youth version of BYD. So 40,000 Ks, same thing. Yeah, same thing. So hmm, I hope I've touched a fair bit of, say, front and rear diff. So this has a differential. So this is what you're supposed to do. So this is your approximately saying like, okay, let's say for example, let's make this money in naira. So approximately you're spending like close to say 1.6 million for this service. I hope everybody is ready for to spend 1.6 million on the service. And I'm saying 1.6 million based on the availability of parts. Now they can decide to sell the parts more expensive in Nigeria. So you can see that not every vehicle is good for the Nigeria system because of the price and how much you're going to spend in all of these things. So this is just a feel of what you might be going through or what you might be doing. So even if you go to Cherry, this same thing, everybody is the same thing. They tell you what you want, you have to do, and when you have to do them. So let me leave this here for now, and then if anybody have more questions about a precise brand, so that way it's easier for me to narrow it down and then go to those precise brands, and then we can go from there. So I hope I've been able to cover. If you can do all of these things that I've mentioned, you're not going to have major problems because you're already looking after the car. But if you don't do them, this is exactly what you're going to face. So you have to always do all those flushes because they matter. They really matter. So I will leave it at that. So over to you, Bamidele. Bamidele. So just let's wait for Mr. Bamidele to come back on. Um so pretty much that's all that I have to share for everyone today. Let me see if Mr. So if Mr. Bamidele is not available, let me see if we can start taking questions before he gets back. So I don't know if anyone has questions, please. He has already explained that we should please put up the hand sign, and let's go from there. Put up the hand sign, ask questions. This we're here for us to talk about the things we don't know. We can all sit down and come up with a better solution for everything or any problems that you have. I've seen in our WhatsApp place as well, a lot of people come up with their problems. So the last person who came up with one, let me try to see if I can read out what the problem is. And I just want us to be kind of objective when we speak on the WhatsApp platform. When I mean objective, I mean there's no similar diagnosis to every vehicle. Every vehicle with the same problem doesn't have the same fix as well. We have to be careful when we are suggesting a fix to someone. You need to understand where the person is talking from. The person has to be able to explain properly. Then that's what is going to determine what we are going to tell that person to do as well. So there's one. So okay, say good afternoon, house. I'm having an issue with my Camry muscle since yesterday. The gear, I changed the gear seal, and since then the gear seal is not working perfectly. 13 pin does any 13 pin. Does anyone have any idea what is happening? When someone comes to tell me this, I don't understand what he's saying. What do you mean by you replace the gear seal? What gear seal did you replace? Are you talking about rear main seal, or what are you talking about? Gear seal? Is it the valve body seal? Or what other seal do we have? I don't know. The torque converter seal. What other seal are we talking about? So what did you replace? You have to either start the parts or explain properly that, okay, this is exact seal that I replaced. Why did you replace the seal? What was the problem before you replaced the seal? So we have to have proper context to before we can even explain or try to tell you this is the diagnosis that you're supposed to do. Now go and scan the car. So, and I always recommend that when in cases like that, I don't even speak at all because I need more information. And when you're coming in to speak, please, these are the major information you're supposed to be giving us so we can help you properly. So please, I don't think there's any other person. Okay, one person came up and said he's trying to do up a CNG conversion for I think it's a VDOP transporter, Volkswagen transporter. And that is, has anybody done it before? Can you, where, how did you do it, and how will you do it, and all of those things? Yes, this person is 100% saying that I have this specific problem. Who can solve it? And I think someone said that you have to use an open loop, either 5 or 4 cylinder, something like that. At least that is a specific um um question. So please, when you want to come on to ask anything, please always be specific. If you've scanned them before, please let us know what the scan came up with. And because once you're able to tell us exactly what it is, then we can go. So see another one. I trust you guys are doing well. Please, I need your assistance to 2015 Corolla with issues with power loss. Sometimes when I brake from a speed bump, the car finds it very difficult to climb the bump, even when I step harder on the accelerator. And some other time it climbs very fine without any stress. No check engine lights, no fault codes, and all of that. So the next person who said something said it needs an engine tune from the fuel pump. Can you confirm if the pressure is up to 4 bars? And okay, then the spark plugs could be a culprit too. This may be a throttle body issue. You have given them 4 options to start with. Where do you want the person to start from? So this whole context that this person has said is kind of pointing to a specific that I have power loss. That's exactly what it is, right? But giving that general opinion is just going to push the person to check multiple things. Why don't we say, okay, you don't have you don't have any engine light? I always recommend that. See, go and speak to somebody who understands what they are doing. If you're in Lagos, there are a couple of people that you can ask, please, who is this mechanic? Where are you? Let's have proper context to what we are asking for. So I don't know, is Bamidele back? Bamidele, can you hear us? Okay, well, let's start taking questions. And so just so
Good afternoon, sir.
okay.
I think it's off now, but we'll be
Oh,
joining shortly.
okay. All right. So let's start taking questions, please. Let's go back to who raised their hand first. I think
We
is
have
one. Sorry.
we have Mr. Lawal and then we have Mr.
No, there
Korede.
was one. There was one person who raised his hand first. Okay, maybe the person has left. Okay, okay. All right. Let Mr. Lawal go ahead then.
Yes.
Mr. Lawal, you can unmute and go ahead, please.
Okay. Yeah. Good day, everyone. It's my pleasure to be on this platform. I'm very glad to be here, and I've been listening to some experiences that have been shared by Engineer Banjo. God bless you so much, and more wisdom, more knowledge. I have some questions regarding what you said earlier. So you spoke about the usage of oil. you spoke about the usage of oil. You said if you're using maybe synthetic oil, because I normally use maybe one oil for my customers who can afford it. So what I normally recommend is 5,000 miles or 6 months. So that's what I recommend for them. So normally the oil costs for what's it called? 10,000 miles, 3,000 miles. So I recommend 5,000 miles or 6 months. So, and I want to ask, is that okay, or am I doing it too much, or I didn't allow them to use the oil the way the manufacturer of the oil recommend? I'm so sorry, I've been getting some distraction here, so I have to just excuse myself. So that is my question, sir. Then another thing I want to ask, maybe you should answer that before I ask leave my second question. Should we answer this first, or I should just ask everything as we go?
It's just okay. Okay. Let me answer it so that I don't digress and then okay. So I don't mix the questions up. Okay, all right. So the problem we have is because you're switching. I said it because we're switching in between, and you need a oil that can take that much heat. Using a 5W30 is too thin. It is good for the petrol side. Once you're using the petrol, is good. But once you switch to CNG, it is bad because it cannot withstand the heat that the CNG is going to give. Do you
Okay.
understand? The kind of spark
Yes.
plug you use is if you use a platinum or an iridium, it's fine for both sides. So I
Okay.
will recommend that you switch to maybe 1040 or 1050. So the point is we're looking at 1540 before, which means the viscosity is really, really high. It's very thick. So, but it is bad for your petrol engine. It's bad for when you are using petrol because you don't need that much thickness and you don't need that much you don't need it's not you're not dispensing that much heat because you have something to lubricate the system. So that's why I said that maybe when we should move to the middle and just keep it in the middle, maybe 1040, 1050. 1040 is fine. 1040, I think 1040 is fine. I don't want 1050 would be slightly a bit too thick. So the distance, because you're using alternative two different systems, what I would recommend you do is double anytime you do an oil change, check that oil, see how bad or how much carbon you're having from that how dark or maybe how much carbon comes out of it. Check your filter. So I think what you do is tell the person to use more of gas and more of and less of petrol. When the person with the filter splits the filter and check the carbon fiber inside it and see what happens. Maybe that might give us a bit of a clue if they're staying too long or they're coming too early. So 5,000,
Okay.
6,000, 500, 7,000 shouldn't be bad. So that's it.
Okay. Okay. Thank you so much, sir. I really appreciate the response. But
Mm.
actually, I don't convert CNG. I don't know if the question, I mean, maybe the webinar has to do with CNG or it's cut
No, no,
across
no.
board.
No, I thought
Okay.
maybe the car uses both.
No, 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 no.
Oh, no,
I'm
that's not.
actually a mechanic. I don't convert CNG. So, but
Oh,
what you said now, if I have customers, because I have some customers who have gone to convert the CNG and we're using different oil for them. So, some of them are using 20W50, some of them are using 5W30. But with what you just said now, I've gained a clarity that they should go for a multiple oil. So, I think that one has kept my memory. So, thank you so much, sir. But what I really want to get is I import maybe one from the USA. I sell to my customers. So the recommendation of the manufacturer is 10,000 miles. I'm not using the, I'm not talking about the extended performance, just
yep.
the high mileage and stuff like that. So which is only 10,000 miles. So, but me, because of the driving system in Nigeria, some of them will be stuck in the old docks and the wheels will not be moving. It is when the wheels move, that is when their mileage will be counting. So I did tell them to service the engine every 6 months instead of waiting for the whole year or instead of them to wait for 10,000 miles. So I now want to ask, am I doing too much, or I didn't allow them to get the best of the oil they're using? Because they pay so much for the oil compared to the oil we used to use before. So and I feel like I need to seek an opinion of maybe my senior people or experts in this field. So they just give me their own opinion on what I should do in that regard.
Okay, no, actually, see, even for me, any car that has gone past 100,000 Ks, I always recommend do 6 months. And you have to understand the reason they decided to do yearly. I think the automobile industry has always done 6 months before, but they noticed that they could not get rid of the oil that is because every time we here, you always have to go and dump the oil somewhere, but they get so much oil and they are not ready to, they can, it's, they have so much reserve that they've not
Okay.
thrown out the first set. Now everybody's bringing new sets. So what they had to do was add more additives to the oil to last a little bit longer. Do you understand? So
Okay.
that's why most people now say a year, and they put it a year. And some people say 15,000 Ks, some people say 10,000 Ks, some people say 7,000 Ks, depending on the vehicle you're driving. If you're driving any vehicle that has any performance, it's 7,000 Ks. For, say, you know, this vehicle called Hyundai Veloster.
I don't think I used to see them on Nigerian roads.
Yeah, so Veloster, Golf TDI, Golf GDI, Golf, any Golf that is performance, you usually is around 7,500 Ks. Brand, even from brand new, you have to do them every 7,500 Ks. There are some vehicles that is 5,000 Ks. That's it.
Okay.
So depends on what the manufacturer says, but usually any car that has gone beyond 100,000 Ks, I will always recommend that you do it every 6 months. That's my own recommendation because I feel that the engine is going to burn a lot faster. It's the oil galleries are bigger, they are wider. So as much as as the mile goes climbs up, I change the oil that I use as well. So if you give me 120,000 car to service, if what they recommend for it, let's say for Honda recommends 020 most of the time. That's
Yes.
what their engine uses, right? But
Yeah.
once you've gone through to that amount of mileage, what has happened is it's all of these things are metal. The oil galleries would have definitely widened a bit. So what you need to do is I move from there to 520. I move from there to
Okay.
520. 5 to viscosity of 520 is not too bad. So I stick to 520 to when you're getting to 180K, then I go to 530, I go to 540. Then when you're like 300Ks at the 100%, I'm going to 1030, 1040 because the
Oh,
engine has run a lot of mileage. So that's how I do my own services. So 6 months is perfectly fine
oh,
as long as you
thank
have the right
you.
oil. 6 months is good. Yes, sir.
Thank you. Fantastic. I've been a lot. I've been a lot. So, and the second question is, I think I'm just seeing the post. You spoke about maybe somebody had a question about the remove oil seal from Toyota gearbox, that's 13 pin, as we commonly call it in Nigeria.
Yeah.
So, I could not. I'm just seeing the message, and I want to ask a question. Why does it always happen to Toyota gearbox? Though I know how to go about it. So, but most mechanics don't know how to go about it because one of the things I do is when I remove the gearbox filter, I mean, sorry, the filter, seal, that's CV axle seal. I normally do a calibration of the length of the gearbox before test driving and what have you. So, but I want to ask a question. Why does Toyota gearbox only have that problem from 13 pin, 22 pin, 21 pin, stuff like that? So, or are we the one doing it wrong? Because I watched some videos on YouTube. I don't know, maybe some of the white men hide it from us because when they do the oil change, the oil filter, that's the jet filter change, the CV axle seal change. We don't see them go to their system, do some relearn, what have before they deliver the car to the owner. So, and I feel like most of Nigerian mechanics don't some of them have gone to do their research, they will tap it or use machine to do it. But I want to really know what is happening. Can you just give me a clue on that?
All right. So the point is, let me ask you again. What seal are you talking about? It is the rear main seal, the one between the transmission and the engine. Is that the one you're talking about? Or
No,
you
this
have to
is
take the
CV,
sum
CV,
off?
the shaft seal. They are removing the CV axle. That's the inner
Ah,
CV axle.
that
Yeah, the
doesn't have
shaft.
anything to do with relearning or anything. You're just remove a drive shaft.
Yeah, the drive shaft.
Doesn't
I'm
have it. So
sorry.
unless,
It has happened to me. Oh. I really need
no,
to
no,
give you
no.
clarity. It has happened to me on testing the
Unless,
Bible.
see, it has happened to me too. Unless that sometime when the transmission fluid is very full, right? When you
Okay.
pull the drive shaft out, it will drop, it will leak, it will leak out. So
Okay.
once it leaks out, and you put new drive shaft back in, you just fill it back up. That's it. And I've never ever had to do anything to any car once I replace the drive shaft. Just pull it out, put another one in, get out. That's it. But if you
Even
were
for
doing,
Toyota cars, huh?
yes,
Fantastic.
yes, I don't like, you don't have to do any nothing. It doesn't have anything to do with the transmission. All you have just replaced is just a drive line. That's it.
God
You
is
just
good.
replace the drive line, nothing else. So, but if you were to do, if you had done a transmission filter, you had brought out a filter, you put a new one
Yeah.
in, and you now put the transmission fluid back in. We don't even have to calibrate anything. All I need to do is while it's jacked up, I once it's full and it starts leaking out, that's fine. I just go in, I do 10 seconds on every gear. So go to new reverse,
Yes,
from
yeah.
back to reverse, leave 10-15 seconds, go to neutral 10-15 seconds, go to drive 10-15 seconds, go back and forth like that, maybe 5 times. Then you put it back to park. If you go and check it, the oil will have reduced. You fill it back up, you lock it, you go on a drive, let it go on every single drive. Or you, if you have a hoist, put it up, go put it in all the drives, let it go through every single gear and bring it back down. The oil would have reduced again. So most of the problem we have is the first time you do it, that's it. You will not just check again. When you go and drive, the customer drives for a couple of days and come back and tell you, oh, it's jerking, it's something like that. It's because you filled it the first time and it has gone through. And don't forget that each of those solenoids,
Yes.
the gears, they retain a little bit of fluid. They have to retain something, just so that by the time you're changing into those gears and it opens, before that fluid rushes in, at least something will be there.
Yeah.
So it retains those fluid a little bit. So it will reduce it 100%. So once it reduces it, you have to fill it back. So you go on a test drive, come back and fill it. Once it fills, after you have driven, you will never have any issues. So you don't have to calibrate anything when you do a drive shaft. I've never heard of that.
They're like good job. I don't know what is happening now because, anyways, I don't know if some other mechanics in the house can hear my voice as regard this matter. Um, but I understand you, Sam. I don't know whether maybe because of the maybe the car is already aging. I'm talking about the transmission box. Maybe it's already aging. That's why you're experiencing all this. So, but I've learned something from what you said. Maybe I'm not doing it right. After we do the etching or whatever we do, just you should just do it the way you told us to do it, and maybe I will start doing
No,
that.
if there's more things, see, there are times where this problem is peculiar to you doing the job. Do you understand? So if you're doing
Yeah.
the job and you have to do a calibration, I'm not going to say no. Do you understand? Because
Okay.
I think maybe this is what the problem is. You know that each they make different cars for different regions.
Yes.
Maybe the one they made for the US, you
Okay.
have to recalibrate it. So I will not technically say what you have said is wrong. No, I'm just only saying that the one that we have here that I work on every time. I've never had to do one. Now, it might be different for the ones you've been working on. And you know that there's 5 different types of Camrys. The same
Yeah.
year, 5 different types.
Yeah.
So the
Most of
five
the one we
different
have been
types, which one are
experiencing
we working on?
I think it's the one they made in North America. That's maybe Kentucky or I
So
think yeah, North America. Stuff like that.
so unfortunately, if it is one of those ones, I don't know. I'm just saying generally, you should not have to do anything. But if you have to do a calibration, I don't. There's no calibration you want to do in. It's just a relearn. You're just relearning. You're letting the transmission relearn how you used to drive. That's pretty
Yeah,
much the only
exactly.
thing you can do. So it's just a
Yeah,
relearn. You're not recalibrating anything. You're just using a bigger English for the customer to pay you more money. That's the only difference.
yeah. So okay, thank you so much, sir. Thank you, sir.
All right, boss.
So
Thank you.
I've been in that area. Thank you, sir.
All right. So let's go to Mr. Korede then.
Okay, good evening, everybody. Good
Korede,
evening.
sorry.
Uh,
But let
yes,
me let me do myself before I remember, because I remember you told Bamidele
that's
the last time. It's
that's true.
Korede.
Thank you so much. Happy weekend to everybody. Thank
Thank you.
you, Coach, for all you've been doing. Thank you for your time and your dispersion of knowledge. Okay, I just have two major questions. Number one is as regards um, the CNG conversion. I drive a Frontier. One of my cars is Frontier 2010 and a V6 4.0 engine. But I discovered that I complained about my gasket one other time. I don't know if you remember. So I was
Yes, yes, I
traveling with the
remember.
car. So I got my gasket blown out, and I can call him a roadside mechanic in Ibadan. Ibadan people are good in Nissan. So I was skeptical about allowing him to open my engine. But after he did, I discovered that he knew what he was doing. So he did back the engine. But I discovered that there was a noise. If the engine starts cool, there won't be any noise. But after like if you have driven the car for like 15, 20 minutes and you slow down, you now discover a resounding noise at the top of the engine, maybe at the camshaft, at the upper part of the engine, like ke sound. That's one thing I discovered. I told the guy asked me to bring it back, but maybe there's a clearance in one of either the valve or the chain or something. I can't remember. So I want to ask if that is true. Then number two, I discover if I start the engine when the engine is cold, everything's all things being equal, everything will be normal. But when the engine is hot and when I stop the engine and I start to start it back, my oil lights doesn't go off as fast as it used to be. What I mean is that maybe the oil supply doesn't get up on time. That's my question. Then the second type of it is I've been offered a free change to CNG by a company, and I'm just skeptical about taking my Frontier for it. I'm thinking maybe I should take the CX9, or the CX9 is the newer version, 2018. But I'm thinking maybe I should take the Frontier. But my challenge is uh, I want to ask what are the possible disadvantages of changing to CNG? What are the pros and cons? I don't want anything that will regret it. I like, you know, my petrol experience. I'm used to it. So I don't want any other experience that will get me mad as a result of changing to CNG. So that is the major question. I don't know if I should just add one to it because of our time. Other people too may want to ask the question. As regard the electric car, I thought that when you were talking about electric cars use a transmission, I thought electric cars you only use driving motor at the four wheels, or maybe a single motor that drive the two wheels either in front or back. If it's a four wheel, then maybe four motors at at each tires. I don't know. When you now said it, electric car uses transmission. I'm just so confused about it. Thank you so much.
Okay, so let's start from the last one. So, the electric car definitely still needs a drive line. So, it means you need a transmission. Now, the transmission, if you have a rear wheel drive, it means you still need to transfer torque from the front wheel to the rear wheel or the rear wheel to the front wheel. If you have a four-wheel drive, means you have to transfer torque from front to rear. If you have an all-wheel drive, it means you have to personally transfer torque from to all the wheels at once. So you need a torque converter. So because it's electric doesn't mean it's still the same setup. Same thing. You still need a cooling system because the drive line still needs to cool down. It needs something to cool it down. So if it doesn't use oil, it will use coolant. So, and there's a special coolant for that, or you use a special oil, which is normal. That's how it works for every vehicle. So because it's electric doesn't mean it doesn't use that. So let's go to your second question, which is me, I would recommend don't try your Mazda because that's Mazda CX-9. That I think it will be Sky Active. Is it a Sky Active engine or it's a I think DOHC engine? Can you confirm that?
Okay, yes, it's the HCM.
So if it's the DOHC engine, I think that engine had a recall on the injectors being a fair bit bad, knocking noise in the engine, and low oil pressure. I think that's the exact version that had that recall or that we have major problems with. So if you go and convert it to
CNG.
CNG, you're going to have more problems.
Actually,
So
since I bought the car, this is
check.
this like third or fourth year, I've not done anything major on it except
Good.
oil
So please,
change and
please
all
don't
that.
do it. That CX-9, leave it that the way it is because I think they have an oil pressure issue. I think I'm not 100% sure if that's the exact variant that had that problem. Maybe the same variant that we have here in Australia is the same one that has the same problem in the US. That I can't say. I'm just giving you my own opinion. Don't do it. The Frontier with that knocking noise that you can hear. So the problem majority of the people do is when they do a head gasket, you see those head bolts, they are stretch, they're called stretch bolts. They actually stretch in the cylinders when you're stretching them in. And then most of the problem is every time you take that head off, you're supposed to machine even the bottom one. You're supposed to make sure the head is perfectly no warp, nothing. If there's any groove in it, the one that you have put in will not sit as flush as it's supposed to. Now, it means that one of the bolts will be going farther than the other one. And once you go beyond the tension that you're supposed to go through, you've already cracked that head. And once that head is cracked, it's cracked. There's not much you can do about it. You need a new engine. So unless if let's say for example he's done that side properly, if some of the bolts of the crank seal lifters, one of them might just be slightly loose as well. And then once you start hearing knocking noise, maybe oil as well. So there's multiple things that can cause that problem. Unfortunately, it's difficult for me to tell you precisely this is what your problem is, because until I have that diagnosis, I can't tell you, unfortunately. So pretty much on that frontier, there's not much I can say on that. And then, like I said, if it's now on CNG, please, the oil that you use, which I've just explained in all my presentation, all that you use has to change. Once you have changed it to that exact CNG, change the kind of oil that you use. And the frontier, yes, you might go and put it to CNG and it might work perfectly well. That we cannot tell until you do it. Once you do it and you start facing those problems, but just make sure they make it a hybrid system. If they make it a hybrid system and you notice that when you use CNG is terrible, just switch back to your petrol and continue your life
Okay, I
without any.
use actually use Hardex 5W30 for servicing for the engine. Does it mean that I have to change the oil to another type of
So now the
viscosity?
only problem we have with viscosity, oil viscosity, is that if it goes too fast, it's bad. If it goes too slow, it's bad.
So
So
is
if
that the reason why the engine, the oil light doesn't go off on time?
so if the oiler doesn't go off, it means that it's telling you that it's starving of oil. There's no oil getting to the valve timing. As long as oil doesn't get to the side that it's supposed to get to on time, until that oil gets there, that's when your oil light will go off and say, okay, yes, I've got oil now, we're all good. Or I don't have oil, please park the car. And once you see that light or you see that sign, please park the car straight away. Don't drive until that oil light goes off. Once you start the car, you put it on, wait until that oil light goes off before you start driving. So you just have to wait. Unfortunately, it is until it gets to those places that's when everything is fine. Then that's when you start driving.
What could be responsible for it? Is there anything I need to do to avert that?
So like I said, let's say you use only 530, right? And the 530 is thin enough for that vehicle. What's the mileage on the vehicle?
Come again, sir.
What's the mileage on the vehicle?
145,000.
145,000 Ks. I'm sure Nissan will not have said you should be putting 530 on that vehicle. Check the cap and tell me and check. You will see they will write it most of the time, they just write it on the cap. If it's 530, they have recommended for that cap. It's fine. Just I'd say usually for me on that frontier, I'd say 540. 540 shouldn't be bad. Is it turbo? Is it diesel? Also, it's diesel or petrol? It's petrol, right?
It's petrol, yes.
And then does it have turbo?
No, not turbo.
No turbo. So 540 should be fine. Maybe try 540 and let's see if it works better for you.
Okay, all right. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. So let's go to Mr. Aziz, please. Mr. Aziz Adebayo, can you hear us, please? You can unmute your mic if you can hear us. Mr. Aziz Adebayo, please. Okay. Maybe we should go to GNII Orthodox. Let's hear what GNI has to say. So I think okay. All right, GNI, you can go ahead, please.
Right. Good afternoon, everyone. Mr. Benga, good
Yeah.
afternoon.
Good afternoon, boss.
My reputable and master techs. I salute everyone from my side. And I hope everybody is having a wonderful weekend and a restful Sunday. Mr. Benga, I'm of two questions.
Okay.
One is related to that of the Nissan Frontier.
Yep.
It's just a suggestion from my own end, or let's say my own technical view regarding the result of what the technician has done to the car. I think generally we are in Nigeria. We are used to this culture of machining the head at every point. We do maybe a major overhauling on every car,
Mm.
and I think in my own German spec, the moment we machine a head and we have replaced all replaceable parts as recommended by the manufacturer, there is this adjustment that they advise. Now, logically, the moment you mention a head, there's a reduction in height.
Yes.
And for those who do replacement of head bolts, good and fine. They might be able to maintain. But for those who refuse to replace head bolts. At this point, there will definitely be a further stretch in the system. So basically, at the point of tightening, you are placing a aluminum alongside with the block engine. So compression will definitely take place. Although this compression might be minute, but for the fact that the head has been machined, we already have a reduction in height. Now, a reduction in height will automatically reduce tensional chain. Definitely the timing chain would still be there, whether replaced or not replaced. There is a reduction in tensional chain that will alter tensioner adjuster. And in our own case, we have oil pressure adjuster. So irrespective of whatsoever happened, the oil pressure, for as long as we have a good oil pump, the oil pressure will still support this alteration. Because for the fact that head height is reduced, it automatically means a losing, a minute lose in the chain tensioner. So adjuster will be complementing this loss of tension at that point in time. So now what happens to the oil pump is, if the revolution require to meet up the upper oil switch, this is in the case of the Frontier, the oil pump revolution require to off the light, because the sensor at the top part of the cylinder will be waiting for oil pressure to pass through. Then it can just do a natural grounding to the instrument cluster to display that, okay, oil is currently at the top part of the engine. So there will be a latency value. The latency is the rate at which the oil will get to the top of the cylinder will be at a latency value of like 0.5 seconds. So at that point in time, it has altered Brembo's regulation. This is what we experienced during our own overhauling process. And the method we have used to correct that was, during machining, we don't allow, in fact, we don't allow excessive reduction on the head. So we condition the lock, the machine personnel to try as much as possible not to even have much impact on the cylinder. And the moment we've been able to start using this culture of a machining process, then we realize that when we do tensional test on the inside, we realize that the tension still fall within the recommendation. And since then, henceforth, we no longer have oil lights blinking. And logically, every engine speaks the same language. All engines speak the same language. Even the evolution and the modification, they still operate basically on same ideology. So I think from my own field, in relation to what the Mr. Frontier has reported, I think the machining process has altered oil revolution to be able to off the light at the specific time. And secondly is the oil gallery. Normally, there should be an expansion in the oil gallery. But the moment you refuse to do a manual expansion on the head gasket you have replaced, there's a supply line from the block engine down to the top cylinder, but there is an intermediary called the gasket. So this gasket, if you refuse to do your expansion, like expand that particular hole that is linking them both, automatically you have reduced the oil flow. I don't know if I'm speaking, if my point is making sense. So you have reduced the oil flow, basically because the circumference of that top cylinder gasket will reduce your oil flow at that point in time. So at that point, automatically there will be a latency delivery of your oil to the top side of the cylinder. Even if you have enough pressure from the down parts, if the takeoff point, the takeoff is very accurate, but for the fact that we have a minute closure on that top gasket, then automatically it will affect oil delivery on the top side of the engine. definitely frictional grip will take place within, let's say, 2 to 3 nanoseconds before supply would now take over. I think from my own viewpoint, this could have been the area where the technician might have not pay attention to during that overhauling process. I think that is for that. I mean, it's just a suggestion to see if it's applicable to that of the frontier case. But in minor German spec, these are things we pay attention to because we have suffered a lot many years ago when we end up we maintain all talks and maintain all standard, but we end up with oil light blinking, and with oil light blinking we cannot even rev the engine. There is little we can do with the engine, and it appears like after this whole lot of expenses and after this whole lot of part replacement, oil light still blinks, meaning the engine, the overhauling is not done, it's not well done. So we just have to find a way around it, and we discover all of these lapses that we just immediately we started to see corrective measures on them. So secondly, regarding the electric cars, I just like to know because recently we lost 2 technicians in Abuja around Gudu. Gudu, okay, specifically, I don't know the exact workshop, but I remember one of them happens to be somebody I know due to the fact that an electrical shut down and they were called. I mean, a technician was called. So getting there, he understood that, oh, he doesn't really know much about this car. So he called for support. So the supporting technician he called refused to admit to the fact that he does not know. So he started troubleshooting, but unfortunately, he did not shut down the car before the troubleshooting process. So maybe mistakenly, he got himself electrocuted to the car, and that was how the whole story went down. So my question is there a way we can have access to safety guide and precaution? I mean, generally, safety guide for like ABC procedure to be taken. At least let's just generalize this and use it like a call to attention, or rather via the group or via social media, we can just talk about it that these are just the ABC guide whenever you are dealing with electric cars. I don't know if we can have access to such an information. And basically, I think all electric cars have similar safety precautions. Yeah, I think so. From my own German area, I think we have our own standard for safety. So I don't know if we can have access to other brands. From German area, I can get safety precautions and safety guide for technicians before they handle electric cars. And I don't know if we can do the same for other brands. So these are my questions. Thank you, sir.
All right, boss. Thank you so much for the extensive explanation. So, if you understand what I have said, exactly what I've said is what you have said. You have just properly explained it. Me, I just didn't want to go into all this plenty explanation. Anyway, but that's exactly what we're saying. That when you're machining, you have to be sure. There are parameters to machine. Even the brake disc. If you want to machine a brake disc, there's a minimum thickness to everything. So once the head is warped, once they check the bore, if it is warped more than a particular percentage, they will not. They will just tell you, we cannot machine it. You can. The head is gone, regardless of whatever you want to say. And most of the time, most of these cars that we've got, they've overheated long for a fair bit of time or a long time. So most of them are not supposed to even be machined in the first place. But unfortunately, it is what it is. So that's pretty much exactly what I'd say anyway. So, but for your electric car, please, can you find that news? Did it make headlines? If it made news, can you send us maybe a proof that that happened? So, if you joined I think the first one I did, even the second electric vehicle information that we did, pretty much I explained every single tools that you're supposed to have in order to work on an electric car. Now, the only problem that most people don't understand is because you think you can, or because you're a mechanic, does not mean you can actually work on an electric car. It's two different things. And you have to, number three is that you have to be qualified. You have to go see, each manufacturer will tell you to go and do their own course. See, am I still sharing my screen? Let me share my screen. You will see everybody will tell you to go and you cannot use Toyota's knowledge to do so. You cannot use Toyota knowledge to go and do BYD, because they are two different cars. Those people, I don't know how they are intended for everybody. I have to go and do everybody one after the other. Is as terrible as that. Even the Chinese cars did not unify their own system. BYD is doing whatever they want. Huawei is doing whatever they want. Xiaomi is doing whatever they want. Great Wall is doing whatever they want. So you have to individually go and find out. But there are baseline for everything. There is a baseline for everything. Yeah, and then there are special practice for everything. So for example, if I were to work on a Toyota now, if it was, let's say, BRZ or BRZ4, whatever. So once I take the shutdown switch is at the back seat, you take that clip off, you take the switch off, you take it away completely from the car. You go and put it in your toolbox, right? Once you put it in your toolbox, you have to wait at least 10 to 20 minutes. 10 minutes is what they recommend. For me, I will just put extra 10 minutes for the car to completely shut down. So when you take that off, don't think the car has shut down. You have to wait. Now, after you have waited for that long, then the car has shut down. Then the safety boot you wear normally to work is not the safety boot you're supposed to wear when you're working on an electric car. Two different things. You have to have an electric mat. You have to stand on the mat. Now, you have to have insulated glove, 1,000-watt insulated glove. And there's two that you have to wear. You have to wear the first one, and then there's another one you wear over it. After that is done, your clothing you should never have any jewelry. You should never have any watch, rings, any jewelry. I don't care what it is. Earpiece, you cannot have one when you're working on this. Do you get? So there's a lot of specifications, and I think I've screamed well enough that don't do it. See, my brother, GNI, don't even bother attempting it, because you can get access to that information does not mean your boys will be as careful as you are. So, and you don't want the situation whereby they'll say, oh, in that GNI, this one, somebody died there. They have to be well PPE kitted. Your floor is different too. The floor of where you do your normal vehicle has to be different from where you do electric vehicle as well. Proper insulation has to happen. If not, people will just keep dying every time. And it's because Nigeria, we don't have people who pick headlines like this. Nobody, I'm sure that 91% of everybody in this place, I say 100% of us, you don't know that kind of thing happened in Gudu. Knowing that 2 people died. If you didn't know the person, you would not have known.
Oh.
So you see all of these things. That's why I come here and speak to people who needs to hear. You cannot do this. You can't. Just don't bother. For me, if I were to, I know a lot of people is like, oh, come and open the workshop. If I'm opening one, my brother, every single thing, the floor, the hoist you use is different too. The floor you use, the hoist you use for electric car is different. And I'm sure all of these our Chinese people who I've seen a lot of workshop in Nigeria now. Oh, this one say they are BYD, this one, they are B, this one. And then I check the workshop and I'm like, hold on, these people are going to die. A lot of them are going to. Yes, maybe, yes, somebody might be lucky and nothing will happen. But don't forget that you are talking to over 220 watts system. Your house switch is 220 volts and people are dying from that. Imagine you have more than 4, 5, 600 watts system. You would die on the spot. So it is very, very paramount that we listen to what I'm saying. I don't know it all too. The little I know is what I'm sharing. So I wish we have people who do this on a daily basis. If they can share proper information, anything, see, we have less casualties here, very, very minimal, because whoever wants to work on it knows how to work on it. So please, that's just my own plight to everybody. You're a mechanic, I know you want to make more money. It's good, but please don't bother doing it. If you don't have the proper PPE, your workshop is not kitted for it. Don't even touch it. Just do your normal cars and just make your money. Go home in peace, and no problem will come to you. So that's my own plight to all of this. I don't know if anybody has anything to add or if we have more questions. I don't know if Bamidele is back as well. So if we don't have any more questions, or if we have more questions, or if anyone has anything to add to it, please speak now. So are we all good? Is there any question in the... So Mr. Agu, have I answered your question, please, sir? My 2006 Honda Civic, it was converted to CNG, so it runs on petrol and CNG. Please, what are the appropriate engine oil to use? Previously, I used 530. So yes, we've answered that one. So we would prefer that you use an engine oil. So if you're in between, I'll say use, because Honda is very particular about oil as well. So I don't know. I think maybe go 540 at the max, because Honda is very terrible with oil. So maybe go 540 at the max. That's just my own opinion. Let's see how it works. But if you use more of your petrol engine, 530 is perfectly good. But Honda, I know that majority of them always prefer 520 anyway. So it's up to you. So that's what I would recommend. Go 540. If it's beyond 200,000 Ks, maybe going to 300, then you can go 1030, 1040, then that's fine. So that's pretty much what I'd say on that. I hope that helps you. I think somebody raised their hands like 2 seconds ago now. I think the person is off again. So please, do we have any other question? So we'll give maybe another 10 seconds if you have any other question to ask or you have any other contribution. So I don't think Bamidele is back. All right. Okay, you can go ahead, please.
All right, yeah. Okay, so I don't know if there's anyone, if there's, in the absence of any question, I will drop the link to the WhatsApp group on the platform here. So in case you want to join the WhatsApp group, you can use that link and join the community as well. If you have questions, you can always ask on the community, and also kindly follow our pages, Vehicle Checks and Vehicle Use on Instagram, Facebook, and other platforms as well. So in the absence of any question, I think that's it for today.
So there's somebody on that. Mr. Iberumi is raising his hand.
Okay.
Yeah, good evening, everyone. Sorry, I've been driving actually, so I'm just listening. But there is this question on the issue of type of oil to be used for CNG. I think, like you raised, sir, Engineer Benga, there is this particular oil purposely, specifically meant for CNG uh, engine oil. So anybody can try to Google online or go to Bovas. Bovas is selling it, but you still have to consult your mechanic to do a kind of check for your engine. But this particular engine is specifically meant for CNG user. Though I've not really gotten a lot of review on it for those that
What
have
is the
started.
viscosity of the oil? What's the viscosity? Do you know?
No, not really. In fact, I heard about it not quite long ago among those Uber guys that are using it. So, and I tried to find out. So, but I've not been to Bovas that are selling it or Mobi as well is selling it. So, but I had that's
Bovas
why I
is
say,
Bovas.
sir?
Bovas is Bovas, right?
Yeah.
Bovas. Is there any
Bovas,
other
yes,
name?
Bovas Group. Bovas selling petrol. Then we have Mobi as well. Then Conor. So those are the major marketer. They're actually selling CNG oil. So
Okay, yeah, you
especially,
can
yeah,
go
it
ahead.
has a lot of synthetic that work with CNG.
So the problem is not a specific. What we're looking at is the viscosity, and the only reason it's a viscosity issue is because of the heat that comes out when it comes that forms up in the cylinders. That's the
Yes,
reason we are changing, or we are deciding that we use a higher viscosity of oil. The higher viscosity of oil still has specifications. Not all higher viscosity of oil will be permitted, but some with some specific additives are the ones that are permitted. So they don't make a separate oil for CNG. So I don't know what Bovas. I can't
no,
find.
actually that's how they tag it. But I
They
will
can
send
tag it
some of the
anyway.
pictures to the group
Please.
so
So
that
that
anybody
will
can
be fine.
see. I'll send some of the
Yeah.
pictures to the group. All
That
right.
will help us, sir. So and then there's a new kind of oil for ah, which brand of this cow? We just talked about it last week. I don't think it's out yet, but I think there's some brands that is already using it. It's called 08. We have 020, 030. Now, a particular brand of cars made 08. 08 is their oil. So it means that it is as light as normal cooking oil. I'm sure that if those cars come in and they don't know the viscosity of oil that is supposed to use, they will just go and put 530. It will ruin the engine. So those are a few other things that everybody has to put into consideration. But yes, I cannot cover every manufacturer. So unless we start speaking out in some particular manufacturer. So if we get to maybe some German cars and having to have, oh, okay, we have this specification and all of that, we can call GNI Orthodox to kind of shed some light. Me, I know a lot about German cars as well, but we can bring in people who knows more or who do in Nigeria to speak about that too. So it's not a problem. Please let us, if you have any problem, speak up. And the only other question we have here, you want to know about hybrid and EV maintenance. recommend. Okay, so I would like to know more on workshop requirements, PPEs. Oh, no. First one is, please, I'm in the, okay, Jetor brand. Please, I would like to know more on precautions for EVs. I'd like to know more on workshop requirements, PPEs, more importantly, training recommendations for the proper way to go about hybrid and EV maintenance. Unfortunately, the company that you work for has to be the one to do that training for you, because Jetor is supposed to train the company that you work for. So because each of the manufacturers, like I said, they do things differently. So if I wanted to give you any proper specification on how to work on Jetor, it means I have to go and do the course. I'll go in, do the course, and come out and come and tell you what I think, what Jetor says to do to their vehicle. Although I have access to that one, I can go and do the course, but I can't keep doing course for every single vehicle, unfortunately. But we can give you general specification on how to manage these things, which if you really want to know, you can get in contact, join the WhatsApp, get in contact with us, and then we can have a chat with your company, and then we should be able to sort something out. So that's not a problem. So GNI, you wanted to say something?
Yes, Mr. Benga, thank you for your time again. Okay. Hello. I am I on, please?
Yeah, we can hear you.
All right, sir. I forgot. I have this Hyundai Creta made in India, 2024 model. So the car came from a dealership workshop to my garage, specifically for alternator aero lights. So when I diagnosed the car, I realized that by default alternator is charging, but unfortunately the aero light on dash is not leaving the dash. So I did a further diagnostic analysis, and it came out to be the output from the alternator end is being controlled. Like it's more or less like a voltage management system that is newly established. So the Brimbos or the ECM monitors the voltage directly from the alternator. And at this point in time, there was an internal bridge on the alternator which just caused a voltage above recommendation to the Brimbos. So currently, we have been able to to do a further analysis and just confirm that the Brimbos is affected internally. And now we just need to replace. So calling back to the dealer, they said they don't have the Brimbos available with them. So I'm just saying, is there a way I can search for the Brimbos outside somewhere? I tried contacting the manufacturer. So they said I might need to wait for 10 weeks. And I said I don't have that kind of much time.
Okay, Ogachi, and I'd like to tell you that go and double check properly. I guarantee you, you
Okay.
don't have an ECU problem. I
Okay.
guarantee you. So, what is the voltage input and output that you're getting?
Accurately 14 volts while the car is running and 12 volts while it's not running.
That's the right.
12.5 while it's not
That's the
running.
right. So then 14 point what are you getting when it's running?
14.5
That's the right voltage. That's the right
on the
voltage you're
alternator
supposed to
side.
get.
Yeah,
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 that's it. You should. So it is alternator combined with the battery. That's why you are getting 14, right? While it's
exactly.
running. You know that
Yeah,
every single vehicle that we have, the maximum voltage you get output from the alternator is 2 volts. Maximum. I mean
true.
maximum. So the maximum is 2 volts. So it means with that one, you have maybe 1.8, 1.6 volts from it, right? Plus that
I
one comes to
approve.
14 volts. So it means
True.
that you're running above the battery voltage, which is perfectly fine. Think
Yeah,
what your problem is. If you scan it,
yeah.
what code does it
Error
tell you?
code,
Is it what error code does it tell you?
high voltage malfunction from
Good.
generator.
Now go and check the ground generator L. Either L, I think some of the Fords will tell generator ground generator L. Check the
Okay,
ground. You can have a problem with the ground. That's
all
why
right.
it's not
I will
turning
do
off.
it. All right.
My brother, I've had that problem
And
before. I almost went mad for weeks, and it was a ground problem.
wow. All right. I will double check and report this in the group and equally share
Please.
the diagnostic reports.
Yes, it's
All
definitely
right.
it is definitely a ground problem, or you have the wrong alternator in it.
It has not been replaced. It's still a follow come from the factory.
It's still the old one. It's
Yes,
fine.
yes, yes.
If
Simply
it's
because
wrong,
it's charging.
if it's still the one from the factory. So I would say,
Exactly.
if I were you, instead of
Yeah.
going as far as ECU, I'd replace the alternator self first. You might have a ground
Okay.
problem inside the alternator.
Okay.
So
Internally.
put-
Okay.
yeah. Put another alternator because you have to understand that the ECU is only reporting what it gives to it. So from where I'm having the reporting from, which is the alternator itself, might be giving the wrong
Yeah. Yeah.
information to the ECU. The ground problem, usually. Maybe they've jump
All right.
started the car wrongly one of these days. So
Okay.
I'd say ECU doesn't have any problem. You have either a bad
Okay.
alternator or a bad ground. That's it.
All right. I will further the diagnosis and use the schematics. Definitely, I will report the situation in the group. And whatsoever we do that
No
resolve the
worries.
problem, I will definitely update on the group. All right. Thank you very much, sir.
All right. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Car diagnosis report, please.
Yeah, Engineer Wenga, good evening and good evening all.
Good evening, sir. Well done, sir.
Sorry, I had another meeting, so I just came back and I joined. I know the meeting was on, so I quickly concluded that meeting. I had to join immediately. So I met you when you were
Thank you,
talking
sir.
about the oil that some guys said there is a specific oil for CNG.
Yes, sir.
For here, I will tell anybody who says there's a specific oil for this, I will argue it anywhere, anytime. There's no specific oil for CNG.
CNG.
Some group here they will post plug for CNG. There's no specific plug for CNG. Combustion is combustion. It's air fuel
Yes.
relationship. If your air is partial, you have a complete combustion. If your fuel supply is partial, you have a complete combustion. Those are
Yeah.
two different scenarios. Combustion, whether temperature is high or not, you must understand the viscosity of this oil, like you have said, where I met you. You must understand the viscosity of this oil when it comes to lubrication.
Yeah.
I know I saw one of these Toyota recently, 0W18 or so. I can't remember the year, but I've seen 018. I've not seen that of 8 you mentioned. But
Yeah.
I know there are improvement every day.
Yeah.
I know recently somebody told me there's a car with Kickstarter inside the gearbox. If anything happens to
Yeah.
your Kickstarter, automatically you're going to drop the engine and the gear.
Half of the European cars, Alfa Romeo, Fiat, there's a
That is
BMW, there's a Ford as well, that
okay.
everything is inside.
It's a crazy design, I swear.
Yes.
Crazy design. Crazy one. Then
Yeah.
I had a slight issue with one 2023 BMW.
Okay.
Initially when they called me, I did the check. The voltage was not adequate. I just used my voltage test meter to test, and I discovered the voltage was not okay. So they did the jump start. I said no, until I get the required this. The voltage supply was around 30 point something or so. It was not up to 14. So I said this is fine because I got the manual on online. They gave for me to access their fuse diagram. It
Yep.
was in their website. I input the chassis number before they gave me the diagram. So I
Okay.
was able to locate the various fuses and I sorted out the one that was bad. Then they did not drive the car for a while. Just a couple of 3 weeks back, they called me that the car didn't start. So I went back. I tried to jump start. It wasn't responding. You know, until I now did a check, I saw that inverter battery, because it's a hybrid, the
Okay.
voltage was less than 10 volts. I said, if you have less than 10 volts, definitely the car will not start. I know normally the start come from the inverter battery. The
Auxiliary
12 volts,
battery.
yes, the 12 volts is a support. If it goes below 30 volts, definitely it will not start. But now I am seeing 6.7 volts. Now, Mr. Quick, I want to ask, can I charge this inverter battery of 48 volts with car with a car running on it, or should I connect a charger direct to light and plug to the terminal to see if I can get the normal 48 volts from the inverter?
Okay, so now does the 40, it is 48 volt, that 48 volts. So it means
Yes.
that if you have to charge the 48 volt, you need at least a probably 60 to majorly say 120 volts charger to charge that 48 volt. You know that, right?
120 volts.
Yes, you
No,
cannot
like
have any charger less. The charger that you want to use to charge the 48 volts has to be greater than the 48 volts.
yes.
So unfortunately, I doubt if there's a 120 volt charger. I know there's a 48 volts charger, which means it will charge it less. But I'd say, is the auxiliary battery is the one that starts the car.
Okay.
So it means check your auxiliary battery. And I know that some BMW is 100% 13.1 to 13.3 volts system.
It's charging voltage.
Charging voltage is 13. I
Yes.
almost see this problem has happened to me too. I changed the alternator like 4 times. I was like, hold on, wait. What am I doing first? Why don't I go and check the specification of the charging system? I just saw it was 13 volts. I'm like, what?
Uh,
Why was I stressing? Do you understand? So, like I said, there was one. See, you understand? The more problems you go through, the more knowledge you have. So
yeah.
definitely 13 point something volts for that system is not is it might that might be the specification. But I
No,
think
I know that.
okay, but I think your auxiliary battery is the one that actually starts the car. But
Okay.
some Priuses will not start if that battery is bad too, if the hybrid battery is bad. But most of the time, if the auxiliary battery is bad, is when those cars. So go and check your auxiliary battery, which is a 12-volt battery.
Yeah.
So if it doesn't start, that 12-volt battery might be the reason it doesn't start.
Then
Not
secondly, yes.
the
I
8
sorry.
volts.
I plugged in my OBD scanner.
Yes, sir.
I did not get signal. There was no power.
There
You
was no
know,
power to where.
no power. There was no power in the OBD for me to run a scan.
Okay,
I know
and is your 12-volt battery charged? Is your 12-volt battery okay?
the 12-volt battery was okay.
Are you
I know it
sure?
was it was a fuse problem. That was a fuse problem.
Okay.
Yes, that was a fuse problem. But of the truth, I couldn't locate the fuse until last week. It
Okay.
took me time before I discovered where the
Fuse
fuse was.
boxes.
Mm. You know, no, they were showing it in their diagram. I located it, but the covering, brother, I dug under this car, scatter everywhere before I could get there. It wasn't funny. I said, is this not punishment? You don't want people to
Yes,
maintain your car or what?
yes, sir. They don't want you to touch it.
So
So,
so
but I'm sure that your key, your body control module, it
your
means
BCM.
everything about BCM is
Mm.
run by the auxiliary battery, which is this 12-volt battery. So it means
Okay.
ignition, starter, everything will be run by the 12-volt battery until the car starts. That's when the
OBD.
48 volts inverter system kicks in, I think.
Okay. That This BMW is a 7 Series 740i 2023 model.
Are you in Abuja?
Yes, I'm in Abuja.
Link with GNI now. Why are you stressing yourself?
GNI is in Lagos.
Ah,
It's
sorry.
in Lagos. It's my good
No,
guy now.
I think it's in Abuja. GNI, unmute yourself. Are you not in Abuja? He's in Abuja
No,
now.
it's in Lagos.
Yeah, Jesus.
I thought
Hello, Mr. Benga, I'm in Lagos.
Ah, sorry. Why am I even
I
thinking
actually
you're in
have a
Abuja?
branch workshop at Automatic Car Wash Gudu. So
Oh,
it's a
okay.
sub to our main branch in Lagos.
Oh, okay. See, Malga, link with GNIS because he does a lot of European cars.
Okay.
You want to speak to him a fair bit on this, but I'm sure that your 12 volt runs your BCM 100%. That one I'm very sure.
That
but
is the
yeah,
auxiliary
now,
battery.
yes,
So, is it the
auxiliary
auxiliary
battery. Yes,
Okay.
so it means your car should start if the 12 volt is good. So now this we are not talking about the 48 volts now. Now the
No.
48 volts depends on the system that it charges. So if it is one that charges through the if it's a newer model, it will charge through they'll do it as kinetic energy to electric energy. So it means it will use the brakes, it use a generator, have a generator somewhere where the brakes charges that generator.
You are a
Sorry?
genius, sir. I say you are a genius, sir.
So it will just
it's from the braking system.
yes. So that's see if you remember any HEV, I don't care who they did it from, as long as it's HEV, which is hybrid electric, which is the newer ones, it uses kinetic energy. So they don't use the 12 volts cannot charge it. So it means they have to drive the car very, very for a long time for it to charge the battery up to a particular percentage for it to charge properly. If not, they have to replace the 48 volt battery. They don't have a choice.
That is big problem.
Well, it's below 10 volts. So there's a voltage that you cannot go below.
It's below 10 volts. It's 6.7.
Well, unfortunately, there's not much anybody. See, it's not your fault. It is the person who buys it and stores it without driving it. There's no point buying a car like that and not drive it.
This guy, he has over 100 cars in his garage.
Well, so it means he has money now. If this will happen like this, then he should pay for the 48 volt battery to be replaced.
That is why this family is fine. I don't like the meeting to end. I would love to talk, if not for your time zone.
So, like I said, there's like if we have enough people who have multiple problems and we want to talk about it, like I said, if you guys call me early in the morning in Nigeria time, we will sit down, we will brainstorm. I will tell you, oh, I think I've seen something like this. Oh, no, me, I've seen GNI comes and say, no, I've seen this one. Car diagnosis report says, no, I've seen this problem. We generally talk about it and we find the problem. So that's how it works. Like nobody knows it all. Everybody has to single-handedly speak about their own perceptions, and then we figure the problem. So I don't think we have taken time today. Mr. Aziz Adebayo, please, quick, so that car diagnosis will talk about this. Maybe we would probably make up a meeting for mechanics.
Why not just clear this one? See, does it okay? Which fine. I should change that 48 volts first.
No. Change the 12 volts. 12 volts.
First. Okay.
The 12 volt. Check. Go and do a battery test on the 12 volt. Just the 12 volts. Don't forget about the 48 volt system now. Go and check the 12 volts.
The 12 volts is fine. Then the auxiliary battery.
The output?
The auxiliary
battery.
Okay.
That's the auxiliary battery.
You know, there's auxiliary battery. There's a 12. Yes. There's a 12 volt battery. Auxiliary battery. Is that what?
So the auxiliary battery you're talking about now is the 48 volts, are we?
No. Okay, like for Mercedes, they have auxiliary batteries separate, which is a smaller battery compared to the 12 volts, the main supply.
Okay, so now that what you're saying now, that one is a different battery entirely. I've spoken about that one. Those are batteries that only powers for Mercedes. There's one that powers the gearbox. There's one that powers small battery. You know all those Binatone now. All the our
Yes,
Binatone
more batteries,
flashlight
yes.
that time. So
Yes.
those kind of small batteries. No, that's not
Mm.
that one cannot be your problem because
That's
there's
what we
none.
call auxiliary battery here.
Oh no! I was talking the auxiliary battery is the 12 volts that me I'm talking about.
And the 12 volts is fine. I did a voltage test on that one. The output was fine.
No, did you do a voltage drop down test? So I mean, put load on it.
Okay.
You have to put load on it. So because if you put the load and is lower than 10.6, it will not start the car anyway.
Of course.
So did you do a load test?
I didn't.
Go. Let's do a load test on that one. If the load test now goes to like 9 volt, then you know that 100% that one will not start. So put a jump starter on that one, just on the 12 volts to start the car. Once the car starts, then you drive the car, then it should charge the 48 volt system.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Because I know because starting is the major problem now.
Yes. So if you can do that, then we can split that. So that's auxiliary battery, unless there's one that controls your ignition, which I doubt they always do. They always do one for gearbox, they do one for which one again? There's like 6 they do like that. Very terrible system.
From what I read, they said if this 48 volts is less than 30 volts, the car might not start. For this 2023 740i.
Okay.
From what I read.
And so if it's a 48 volt system, right? And they say if it's less than 30 volts.
If it's less than 30,
that the where is not making sense is that 48 volts is not the one that is starting your car. It's the 12 volts that starts your car.
It's the 12 volts. I agree with that. Yeah.
Unless they have that particular model have decided to go crazy because they know that it's a hybrid battery. So you should not even be using that to control your BCM. Because your key remotes, inner lights, all of those parts are controlled by that 12 volts.
Yes.
Not the 48 volts. Because they know that it is easier for you to change the 12 volt battery than for you to change the 48 volt. That's why they always make BCM, anything body control module, they put it on the 12 volts. So unless maybe that maybe GNII, if you guys can link together and do proper research, or if you send me some of the information, maybe I can check and see if they did that particular model differently.
Okay, no problem. No problem.
So yes, sir. Thank you, sir. So Mr. Aziz, quick. Let's make it quick. I think he has
good evening, sir.
Good evening, sir. Well done,
yes,
sir.
I first of all want to appreciate the organizer of this program. We really appreciate it. God bless you, sir. Thank you for enlightening us. Please, I have 2 questions. I think you people spoke about maybe when someone removed the CV joint, that's the drive shaft, that the gearbox goes weird or somehow like that. And I remember you said you have never encountered something of such before. I've encountered it on my own, and many people have also encountered it. And I don't know, maybe there is a particular thing that we did wrong, but if I may, from my best knowledge, I know there's nothing we did wrong other than we want to replace the shaft boot, and we remove the shaft. We put it back. Before you know, the vehicle will refuse to sometimes enter reverse. It will enter, it will just be revving, it will not move. The same thing with, in some cases, it will be drive. So that one, because I've known of many people that have entered a problem like that before. Same thing with me. Though eventually we have to recalibrate, we have to do many sort of things before we were able to get it back. And I've been looking for a proper guideline on that. Is there a particular way of doing something of such? That is one. Then secondly, I have an EV vehicle. That's 2021 GLE 450. Yes, GLE 450 2021. The major problem is the vehicle just write a message on the cluster, leave the engine running, the 48-volt battery needs to be charged. You understand? And we have
Yes.
tried every possible best. We left the engine running, but the message refused to go. So what we intend to do is to replace that 48-volt battery. That was what we had on plan to do. We have even the people we are asking, they said they don't have it, they have to order it or whatever. But when you people are now laying emphasis on it, I want to ask, for that GLE 450, is there another battery aside the 48-volt battery? Because we couldn't locate any in the vehicle at all. If
Oh,
anybody
so
has the experience, sir.
there should be
GLE 450,
multiple
2021 model.
batteries in that vehicle. So there should be the 48 volts, there should be a 12-volt battery, there should be some couple of other smaller batteries. The same exact thing that me and car diagnosis just talk about now. They should, all those smaller batteries are just extra batteries for maybe your ECU. Some one is for gearbox, one is for there's one other one, I think torque converter. They put all those extra, but what the major batteries that you have, major batteries is a 12 volt and a 48 volt, which is a auxiliary and then the inverter battery battery. So now the difference is when they're saying that leave the car running for that to charge, you have to remember that is it if the system is a system where it uses kinetic energy to charge that battery, if you like leave it on, it will not do anything because it car has to be physically driving to charge that battery. That's how it works. Unless there is a generator that actually sends voltage or sends charge from when you start the car from your battery and your alternator to charge that 48 volt. And you have to remember that both of them together is less than the 48 volts. So there's no way they can charge the 48 volts. So it means that you have to either physically drive the car to charge the battery, or there's a different way of charging the battery. So, which I think you have to drive the car. So when you start driving the car, you start seeing the charge on the dashboard. You see it charging. So when you drive the car, does it show that it is charging, or it still leaves that error message when you are driving? What happens when you drive?
The funny thing is that error message doesn't just come like that. Sometimes it will be there, sometimes it will not be there. Like there were times that we left it running, after a while the message went off and we thought we have solved the problem. Only for them to come back a few days time that the message has come back again. And that was when
So
we
now,
decided, okay, we may need
when you
to.
drive the car, so when you physically drive the car, does the message go, so while you have the message on the dash, pull the car out and drive it, does it the message go away straight away, or what happens?
It will not go straight away. It has never
So
gone straight away. We have to left it running the way it said. After a while, then the message will now go.
so but when you are driving, does it go away or it still stays there regardless of whether you're driving or you're parked?
No, it will be there. It will be there until we
Even
left
when
it
you're
running. The
driving.
same way the vehicle said that we should do.
No,
We will
did
leave
you
it, we
drive?
will leave it
When
running.
you are driving, does the message go away?
You don't understand. When the message comes up, we will leave the
Yes.
vehicle running.
Yeah.
Sometimes that message will go, sometimes it will not go. You understand? But
Yeah.
whenever it goes off, if they have taken the vehicle home like 2 or 3 days, the message will still come back again. So irrespective of whether they drive or they not drive,
So I'm
because they
saying
usually take the
that
vehicle to office every time.
while you are driving, does that message go away or the message stays until
It
you
stays,
park the
it
car?
stays,
It
it
stays.
stays
So
until you park the
regardless
car.
of where you're driving. So now the point we're trying to make is that when that message goes and they take it home, do they drive the car at all, or they don't drive it for that 3 days and then they
No,
come back
they drive it. They usually go to work every day with the vehicle.
with the vehicle and it still
Yes,
comes back on again?
yes,
So
yes.
it means the battery is bad then, because it
And
has to be
that
charged.
was what we resorted to do. We want to replace the 48-volt battery. That is the
But
idea.
before you replace that battery, please double check all the wiring system. Make sure there's no wires that is peeled. Make sure there's no wire that is damaged. Make sure water has not got into the battery. That's another major problem that you might face. So double check all of those things and find out if there is a switch or a step down system that actually turns on the charge or reduces the charge or whatever. There has to be something there that actually helps that battery to charge. So either it's through kinetic energy or whether it's through a battery charging system that actually sends voltage completely to that one. Do you understand? All of those things we have to make sure that the right voltage is going to it. How is it supposed to charge? So those are the things you have to go and find out and be sure that those things are working before you go and put the new battery. Because if you buy a new battery and you put it and it still doesn't work, the customer will be like, I don't want to pay you. So you are better doing more diagnosis and make sure that how does this system charge? First of all, it charges through 1, 2, 3, 4. Then go and check those go and check those 1, 2, 3, 4 before you even use the battery.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. Then regarding the other question, sir.
Which one is that?
That's on the transmission.
Okay, so see, sincerely, let me not lie to you. When I pull the drive shaft off, unless that when you put the drive shaft back on, that's the knuckles that goes onto it is stuck. There should not be any reason for you to calibrate anything, because once you pull it out, you're just putting another one in, unless the fluid has dropped from where you pulled it out and you put another one in. I don't think there's, like I said, maybe the one they made for America, maybe you have to calibrate it. I'm not sure.
Sure.
But for me, every single one that I've done, pull out, put another one, and get out of there. That's what I've done. So unless maybe another thing is, maybe if I come home, maybe we'll do one and then we'll see.
Okay. Then, sorry, I supposed to have added this question earlier. The transmission, some says before you replace the transmission fluid, that you have to leave the engine, the transmission to clean. It's an absolutely to zero before you start working on it.
You have to let the what?
That you allow the transmission system to cool down fully.
Well,
to cool down, like you leave the vehicle like today and tomorrow you start working on it.
Well, for me, I prefer that it is hot because it makes my job faster. So when transmission fluid is hot, it's lighter. So because it's lighter, I will drain more. So if you want to do a service, if the engine is a bit warm, you will notice that the fluid you will be able to drain more engine oil.
It'll be easy for it to flow out.
Yes, easy flow. Instead of me staying there for maybe 15 minutes for everything to drip out, you might just stay there for 5 minutes because it's hot. Easy. That's my own opinion. It doesn't mean it is right, or that doesn't mean it's wrong. For me, I prefer to drain it out straight away, get out of there, because I don't have time to be sitting down on one job for that long.
Okay, and one final thing, sir. The location of the 12-volt battery in that GLE 450. Can you assist me with that?
Send the VIN number to the WhatsApp. Are you on the WhatsApp group?
To the link that we used to join the meeting.
Yes, join the WhatsApp group. Send the VIN there, and then we'll look for a diagram or look for a video and send it back to you. I'm sure that there's even me. I would not even before I even answer, like 5 people would have already answered you and show you where that battery is. So that shouldn't be much of a problem. So when you join the WhatsApp group, ask any question. We'll all come together and then answer as well.
Oh, thank you so much.
All right, thank you so much. Thank you.
Just one little contribution.
Okay, sir.
Yeah, for the battery case, I observed with one of my customer recently, Chevrolet Tahoe.
Yes.
Somebody put a battery 75 amps. Then when we did a test on the battery, we discovered that the CCA was less than 650 and the recommended was around 650 or thereabout. The CCA is a code crank amperage. Most of the batteries we have here, they are not up to that. But the Tokubo battery, that's the one that come with the car directly, most of them has that capacity. So if you have a battery, though it's fully charged, you have that amperage, the CCA might not be up to. So definitely it's going to be sending error message to the ECU. As we speak, I have one message this best in the shop now. The man complain every day. The man said, I just changed his battery. I said, fine, you just changed the battery. I agree with you. But from what I'm troubleshooting, this battery is the voltage is 12 points, but the CCA is not up to the 650 that this car recommended. He argued, I said, okay, fine, fine. If I'm able to get a Tokumbo battery from any of these messages, I will call you. Then let's do a proper test before I tell you change this battery. I once bought a battery from somebody. I tried to program it on a BMW. You know, it did not go. They tried to on further session. I discovered that no, this battery capacity is good and fine, but the CCA was less than the recommended for the BMW 5 Series BMW 2010 model. Until I was able to get something close to 600, it was 580 thereabouts. I tested the CCA, it was 5 something. It was not up to even 600. Immediately I put the machine to reset the battery. The thing just went through, and that was that the car accepted the battery. Till today, the man wants to buy battery, must look for me before he buy battery. Till today, say, Peter, let's go and look for battery and buy. So for that GLP, you might have such a case. Most of the batteries we have here, they are funny batteries. That's my contribution, please.
All right. So see, I think what the problem actually is where you guys are having problem is most of those vehicles, those German vehicles, only use AGM and EFB batteries. Any vehicle that has a stop start, any vehicle that has any of this hybrid system, they don't use normal CCA batteries, they use AGM.
Yes.
So they use AGM, they use EFB. There's one other nonsense one that they are using now. Very, very terrible battery setup, but it's fine. But that's exactly what they use. If you're not putting the right battery in, which means whether, if you like, let it be 2 CCA, but as long as it is AGM that is supposed to actually be in the car, then you are all good. Do you understand? So please, before you replace any European vehicle battery, please always double check the battery that is supposed to be in the car, because people just put any battery and just come and dump it in, and you have to reset the battery monitor every time. Most of these cars, once you put it in, you have to reset it, so which everybody already knows. But please make sure we check the battery that was supposed to. And I forgot to ask you, Mr. Aziz, has any job been done on that car before you got the car? So please go and ask those questions. Let the person tell you precisely what was done on the vehicle.
Sorry,
Yes,
sir,
sir.
we are the one maintaining the vehicle from the onset. But you know that clients are funny sometimes.
Yes,
Because
they will not tell you.
when we were trying to locate the battery, because we had difficulty locating where the battery is, we discovered that they have removed some components. You know, there is a way that things will be packed from factory that you will know. But on getting there, we discovered that they have tampered with some things there. And we asked them, they said no one has tampered it. So we couldn't inquire further. But
So
we
now
know
check
that something has
that
been done.
12-volt battery and see if it is the original battery that came with it. If it's not the original battery, you that you have been managing it, you have never changed the battery.
Yes,
Okay,
yes, we
when you
haven't.
bought this car, was this battery already changed? Because me, I have been seeing this battery, I have not changed it before, but this is not the original battery that came with this car. Where did you go with? Oh, yes, there's one time. Okay, now you know where you want to start from, because most of these things are wrong parts fitted on most cars. There's no way you can fix it until you figure out what part was changed and then fix it. So maybe that might be your problem. Same as this guy has said now, which I not asked if everything has been done. Anyway, so that's pretty much it.
Okay, thank you so much, sir.
That's, God bless you. Thank you so much.
You're welcome,
We have
sir.
taken everybody's time today. I don't know if pretty much that's the end of it. That's the end of it all. Um, I don't think it's anybody that has any question, and I don't think anybody wants to ask any question anymore. Love to be around when AJ wants section. Okay, yeah, no problem. We'll send it out. We'll send it out to everybody when I'm going to be around. We'll just pick one. It's just that everybody's far apart. Maybe we'll just pick one workshop and then we'll do it. We'll do the job and then we'll see how we go from there. So GNI, do you want to say is like 2 seconds to say?
Yes. It's a quick one. I realized that when our discussion forum is
Yes,
highly technical,
yes.
when the discussion pick a very high tech value, I realized that we have more technicians who speak aloud. And I did assessment and evaluation of the group as a whole. I know we have more end users than the technicians, but surprisingly, when the end users are silent, it means the discussion is becoming like a super technical. So they just need to like, okay,
Yep.
visualize and listen to see what it has to do with their cars. So at this point, I've been expecting the forum to grow in this dimension because I'm one of the technicians that need to provide the available resources and technical support. So I want to suggest, can we have a team of technicians that will make provision for all data online, like contribute as a team, then we purchase a whole data online. With all data online, every technical information and technical support and requirement to maintain modern and old cars, you can have access to it. Then the group admin and the moderators would do a kind of regulation on how this data or technician that contributed or that took part in getting the data, how they will utilize it. This is just a suggestion to the forum.
Okay, yeah. So we will, like I said, the last time we did, I'm already working on a parts interpreter system where you put your VIN, you'll be able to see the part you want to replace. Say, for example, like this Malga that is looking for the 12-volt battery. If you put your VIN in, you would click all of those documents. It would show you where the part is, what the part number is, and where the parts, the location of the parts, and how to even change it. It would show you all the diagrams where what you need to pull out to get there. All of those things will be done. So, but it is taking me time because it costs me a lot of money as well to put all of those brands together in one spot and send it out. So as soon as that one is done, I will be able to share it with everybody. Now everybody will have an account. You go in, put in your account. You're looking for a part number. You will not be putting the wrong parts anymore because you can equally just check the part number, pick the part number, go and buy what you have to buy, and it'll be the right one. So that's what I'm working on already. So God bless us. So is that yeah, we have to go. It's already we've spent more than 2.5 hours here. So thank you so much, everyone. Again, please. I really appreciate all the people that has been speaking, everybody who asked questions. Like we said, we want to help. The only reason we're here is because we cannot, the government cannot do it all. We all have to individually pick this thing. And please send this out to as much people as you can find. Technicians, end users, dealers, government, because if they don't know, they don't know. There's not much we can do about it. We can only scream as much as we can. So please, let's send it out to people who matter. I know there are mechanic association of Nigeria or whatever. So let's come together and let's help ourselves, teach ourselves, and then God bless us all. Thank you so much again, once again. And you guys stay blessed, and God bless you all. Thank you, sirs. All right, see you guys.
Bye.
All right, bye bye, sir. Yeah.
Hi, good evening, everyone. Actually, technical and